because we didn't think that they were because we didn't think that they were actually serious. So we just submitted the same offer that we would have submitted had they not told us that they
Yeah.
got another offer.
What was your
Right.
opinion, John,
So
out
led
of
me to
the gate?
believe that they really had a strong offer. If they had a strong offer, then I would have thought that they waste their time sending us a questionnaire and stuff, you know?
Yeah. My opinion is always, I mean, Zane probably knows the answer to this, but when if someone's questioning things and, uh, it doesn't feel like they're either motivated or they're just straight up fibbing to you. Like, oh, I got this offer and blah, 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 blah. It's almost like they're trying to create competition, which is artificial. And then now you know that they're not playing it the true way. And you know that you might even have, to get some more meat off the bone. You know what I mean? What's your opinion,
Right.
Zane?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking the way that we submitted the offers, we gave them the two offer template. One was seller financing, one
Nice.
was a lower offer with cash. And either way it goes, if they take anything close to that, then like it could be a really good deal.
Sweet. Tell me more about the building, John.
Oh, there's three buildings. Uh, one, uh,
John, if it'd be easier, maybe turn your camera off because you're real spotty.
And I can also,
Or Zane, if you'd like to maybe give us a description of it, that's fine either way.
yeah, I mean, what I think what he was trying to say was it's a portfolio of three different buildings. And we talked about it maybe last week on this live call, but they were originally just selling the one. And then we looked up that one and we saw that it was part of a portfolio online. So overall, though, this is what we did here. Can you change it to where I can share my screen here?
Yep, here you go.
Okay, can you see this?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, so what we did, just for everybody else's future reference, in John's deal flow folder, he's got all his pro formas, and then we made another folder for this particular deal called the three building portfolio. We've got the LOI in
Very,
here.
very original.
What do you say?
Very original. The three building portfolio.
I know, very creative, right?
Yes.
Um, and so we have everything about the portfolio in here. So anytime you guys are working on a deal and have a bunch of resources you want to stay organized with, just make a new folder and then create the performance within that folder or move the performance there. So we actually have two performance for the same deal, but for two different offers. So we have the cash offer
Oh
and the
wow.
seller finance offer. So we'll click into both of these here, but
Smart.
so we have it's in Oklahoma and Texas, but the whole portfolio total, their asking price is 4 million bucks. That's a 9.3% cap rate as it sits there. We offered them 3.4 for seller financing, and then we offered 3.1 for cash.
Go
And
back to the
all the
first one, please, Zane.
for to the first one.
Yeah. Let me just get my eyes on it. Okay. Scroll down for just a sec. I want to see what the debt ratio is. Okay.
Mhm.
It's pretty healthy.
And this is with a 80% LTV. And John's bank already said they're super interested, even with the seller in second position.
Nice.
So,
So then really, really for John, if you're following along here, I mean, now now that you've got some interest and they're sending you that stupid ass questionnaire or whatever, which I wouldn't respond with anything, not because you're not interested, but because any information that you give up is just information that they can use against you in negotiation. So anytime anybody asks me for anything, I just tell them if you're gonna give up a piece of information, oh well, okay, well John's gone, but either way,
yeah.
recording it anyway. So, but for Richard, that's on here. Anytime you're giving away information, um, you need to ask for something in return. You
Mhm.
don't just give up something without getting something. Like it's got to be a quid pro quo. So in John's circumstance, I'm not giving up anything unless I'm getting some type of LOI signed or something along those lines. Maggie, come on.
That's a
Uh,
good point.
just like something along those lines. One second here. Um, I pick up my kids from school on Thursdays, so I'm at home doing this, and my kids, yeah, I tend to read some of these, trains, planes, and automobile books. Um,
Those are your reading
yeah,
level.
that's my reading nook. Um, but I would say just something along the lines like, hey, if you guys are, and again, if someone signs a LOI, it obviously doesn't bind them. It's a non-binding, agreement, of course. But at least you've got something moving forward and say, hey, look, if you guys are wanting to do, and I've said this before, but if you guys are, hey, oh, we're a buyer and we need, or you're a buyer, we need you to fill out this information. I think the move is just like, no problem. I'll fill it out in exchange for a signed LOI at one of these, and then once, you choose an option that you'd like. And then if anything else, you can maybe, I mean, it sounds silly, but even doing like a 4 minute Loom or a 5 minute Zoom, like, recorded phone call or phone on your computer and walking somebody through why leaving money in the deal is like so valuable. Most people just they don't understand the value of doing it. And that's okay, but they just don't know any different. It's like anything else. So you only make decisions based upon, your current knowledge of something. And most people are only like, I just want to cash everything out. They don't ever think about Uncle Sam and the silent partnership that they have with him. So that would be my opinion on that. Zane, you
Okay,
got
and well, my question is, you as an owner, if somebody came to you with an offer, I mean, do you just take their word for it that they're good for it and they're able to go and get the financing and they have the experience to go through the contract period and put up due deal or put up earnest money and all that? Or are you also trying to learn more about them as buyers as a seller? You see what I mean?
Are you asking me that if I was selling something?
Yeah, like if you were selling something and somebody submitted an offer, would you want to learn more about them or you
Well,
don't
the thing
care?
is, I'm not really like I'm believe it or not. Okay, so I'm actually walking aside. I have a building that I'm selling tomorrow. Well, we're not selling it tomorrow, but a guy is interested in selling and buying this building from me. It's the one in Tarrant,
Mhm.
and he might end up buying both of them, but we'll see. He's got his investor bud in town from Nashville. Well, you know, I look at it in a position where if this guy closes, great. If he doesn't close, great. I don't care because again, I bought the building the right out of the gate, so I don't have a timeline. I don't have a oh my God, I gotta close this deal before the end of the year like mentality. It's like if the deal closes, it closes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I don't have this, you know. Again, if anything else, the only thing I would say is like, hey. I'm not really ever selling anyway. So if someone does want to tie the building up, I'll say, hey, tie it up for 15 days. And if you can't have the earnest money go hard after 15 days, well, then maybe you're not going to close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
something along those lines.
So if they were motivated, for example, which it looks like from the cap rate, they might be motivated, or there may be some reason they're selling, of course, but I mean, what if they, from their perspective, some dunce, comes up with the earnest money and then they go through the contract period, they lock up the property for a month or, 45 days or whatever it might be. Um, then I guess they could miss out on like selling it to somebody else, right? Like in that case.
I mean, it's true. I mean, that's inevitable, and um, that's the name of the game in all real estate and business. I mean, I have a life insurance client right now that he was about to close an apartment sale and gonna make $1.5 million on the close because the guy was had 1031 money and he had the deal tied up for 90 days. Well, then what the happened was, which I hope this never happens to anybody else, but it will inevitably happen if you're in deals enough. The guy had 1031 money and he had put up $100,000 of hard earnest money. So even if he closed or not, that, the earnest money was gone. So what he did is he went down to this buyer went down to the municipality. He found another deal. He identified another site, went down to the municipality and bribed them 2,500 bucks to go. And he's in a lawsuit now, but he went and did a 2,500 bucks for like the for like a sewer to go in, like, and they didn't pass the inspection, which triggered like a phase one. So it was like
Yeah.
all this extra septic systems, all this kind of things. So the guy was able to get out of the contract, and then he moved his money to another deal. Like
Wow.
wild, yeah. So it's
That's
like
crazy.
such a bummer, but I'm like, those, you know, but he tied his money, he tied that deal up for like 90 days, like what you're saying, Zane. Like that's a bummer. There's a trillion ways out of it, and there's another way you can get out of those deals too. I have another buddy that has more money than God, and he would do this if he was in a deal. He does big apartment flips, and he would say, "This is actually good little like tips if we ever need to get out of deals for everybody to like just understand. If you're in a deal, you're tied up, and it's a $2 million deal, and you're in it for 25,000 earnest money. You're like, okay, for whatever reason, I'm past due diligence. I can't close. It doesn't make sense. I'm about to lose earnest money. You can hire a title company for $300 if you got a guy, and they can go in and they can do a title search, and they can find a um, somehow that you misrepresented the title. There'll be, you can say that there wasn't clear conveyance from one guy from 1960 to 1964. Like they can always, he's like, any title company can always find a way because in the contract it says that you as the seller have to convey and say that you have clear title to the property. So they can say that you can go back and say, well, you never conveyed clear title to me, and therefore, our contract's void. So,
Hmm.
little tip for everybody and their brother.
Interesting.
My guy's like, I've got out of $1.5 million of just earnest money that would have been gone if it wouldn't have been for me paying $5,000 to a title company like 10 different times. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, wow. So, a thought for everybody there. Quick tip. So, what else is going on? I see a couple other guys coming on here. Richard's on here. Richard and I and Zane, we all walked a building in Birmingham on Tuesday. Richard, if you can talk, man, would love to hear what your opinion was of just the event. And then, then after we went, had some lunch and did the whole thing with one of our bankers. He's given us a kind of a verbal. He's got to go to his loan committee, but it's pretty much approved already. So what was your opinion, Richard? He's on here.
Might be on another
Oh,
call or
that's
something.
okay. Zane, what if I mean for those that are on, Richard is in Atlanta and he's been working on tying up a building. It's like a 27,000 square foot site in I mean, it's about I mean, shit, half. Hey, Richard.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, what was your just opinion of the day, man? Tell us, kind of walk us through the whole what your opinion was.
Well, first of all, I want to thank both you and Zane for coming out. I know y'all are both extremely busy. I'm very appreciative of that. It was good. It was good to walk the property finally. I've been trying to set that up for about a month now, but they had a little pushback getting the tenant in there. The tenant's moving in Saturday, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I sent you all the docs now. You should have those. But and then I appreciate you joining me for lunch with Ryan, the banker who is seems like he's all systems go. We just got to get him the PSA. It sounds like once that's done, if we get to that point. So I'd love to talk to you after you get a chance to look at all that, see if you missed anything. I've already let my broker know the earnest money he asked for, 50 grand. We're not going to do that much. We'll do maybe 20. That ought to be enough
I
to
would
tackle the
always do
deal.
like 1%. Like, I mean, if it's
Yeah, they were
million
doing.
dollars, 10 grand, or
Yeah,
whatever.
they were doing like I don't know where they came up with that number. That came from the seller. He offered up a PSA. So we haven't signed that yet, but I've got a template that we've kind of got in-house to look at. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. We've already got a tenant ready to go, 5-year lease. So let me know your thoughts on the lease too, Nolan, when you get a chance to look at that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
looking.
was looking.
I think it's like 14 pages long or something. So I just need to read
Yeah,
it tonight. But that's
yeah,
pretty normal and standard. But
yeah.
Zane, what did you think while you were there as well? I mean, just walking the site, getting your eyes on it. I mean, what were your opinion, man? Just curious.
Yeah, it was good. It was a healthy looking building, and like you said, it was a little far west, I think, right?
Let's pull
In
this up so we can.
in Birmingham, which is not the best area, but there's some good tenants and good buildings like right around it as well. Um, and
Yeah.
it'll just keep on developing as well. So I mean, Birmingham is constantly growing. Nolan, you have a building over there on kind of close to that on Fourth Avenue. Isn't yours like
I've got a
a few
couple
minutes
over there.
away?
I got one on second, I've got one on third, and I've
Yeah.
got one on fourth. Yeah, I've got them kind of all over there. And one thing that most people don't know is that these photos are, you know, very drawn. They're very bright. When we walked in, there was a little more dark than this, but also we didn't really turn the lights on. But um, yeah, there's a cool little opportunity over there because this building is sits in a zip code that the United States government gave a $55 million grant to. And so they're knocking down, they're um, displacing a lot of these elderly, lower income living individuals, and they're moving them somewhere else. So they're just going to knock down all these. I'm not going to call them the projects, but just like lower income housing. It's like Section 8ers, and they're gonna spend like $55 million in this one zip code in order to generate more revenue and business. And this is like right. It's almost like uh, sounds sad saying it, but like this is like right in the middle of the hurricane. Like it's going that direction. So that's kind of cool. I mentioned I just got eminent domained on a site a couple of weeks ago because they're moving in that area. So um, yeah, that's the way that I look at it. That's the way that I look at it. I think there's just opportunity. So this is what the site looks like. I mean, it's nothing. Again, this isn't like a crazy site. It's just a very nice base hit, great look. I mean, and you can't really see it from here. I want to say there was another aerial that I looked at. Maybe it was on here on this lease. Saw it somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So I was looking at the aerial. So what you guys can see. So that was the building. So all of y'all are aware. So here's how I initially, when I drove up to the site, I'd actually seen this building like a year ago and liked it. And the guy had in the past, it was vacant. It wasn't as updated as what it is now. Well, what I initially thought was I drove in off the road here, parked, and my first initial thought was like, look at all this space right here that's not being utilized. And so what this can do is two things just from an investor standpoint. So first, I mean, you obviously can see the building from the road. I mean, it's obvious. But what if we were able to, gravel this entire site, rent it to a trucking company, and make 1,500 extra bucks, right? Whatever, that's great. You increase the value of the parcel, which is awesome. But second of all, in my opinion, what it does is it gives the site a little bit more fluff, and you can't really see it, but there's another trucking and distribution business over here as well. And I think it just adds just more buffness to the site. So you don't have somebody considering, oh, let me just run up on these people. If you've got multiple people all in this area, and there's another site right here that, I mean, I even offered the broker, I was like, look, dude, call the doctor that owns this site and see if what we can do a deal. I mean, if you can just package all of them up and you can own them all together, you can create a little monopoly in like this tight little spot and then create a little fortress, I guess. I don't know. That sounds silly to say, but that's the way that I looked at it originally. I didn't really run through all the entire lease, but when I looked at the aerial, I was like, this is actually a pretty big parcel. This would rent for 1,500 bucks like all day long to some trucking business. I mean, it's right off I mean, this is um it's not a highway. It's like an interstate or whatever. But it rolls right off to I-20 if you're going this way, and it rolls all the way to 65, which is, both international, or not international, but just like, multi-state highway. So yeah, that's the way I looked at it. That's the way I underwrote it. But the site looks strong. I mean, I like the building beforehand. It is a little more west than what I would like typically like to buy, but the guy invested some money in it, and he put this brand new, dock right here, just ramp and everything, and you can't really see it, but there's like again another business over here, and
Got a
so
new roof too, which I like.
new roof,
New
new
paint.
paint. It looks clean. Yeah, and then you got a guy that's in there that is about to signed a 5-year lease. Again, I haven't reviewed it. I need to read the lease and see how many options there are, but I think there's just some opportunity, and you got the banker on board, so. Now the next step really is to sit down with the seller, offer him the seller financing, show him why this makes more sense. I think you offer him a 5-year, balloon payment, And then after those 5 years, we sell it or refinance it and go from there. That's kind of what my opinion is. Anybody have a thought or opinion on that? On why or how we're doing that?
What are the numbers on the deal? I might have missed that. I had bad connection, sorry, but what was the asking price and what did you guys end up agreeing to? Is it that's
We're
all right
agr
me asking?
we're agreeing to the asking price, but the asking price is at a 10 cap. So it sort of made it
Okay.
easy for us.
Right.
He originally came in, originally it was a 12 cap, and once he got his new tenant in there, I think he adjusted his numbers down to a 10 cap. But 12, 10, those are both good. But that's right now, that's just a cash price. We're going to talk to him on Monday, I think Monday morning, to see if we can get him to leave some money in the deal. Then we'll go from there, so we can work a deal out with him. But right now, all the boxes are checked. Our five objectives we look for, and then coming in at 10 cap, and all the other metrics uh, check out as well.
Yeah, I haven't really, again, I haven't read through. I mean, Richard sent this to me like,
A couple hours ago.
2 hours ago. So I'm just now seeing this literally for the first time. So I
It's
haven't.
like
The good news,
Yeah, it's like
I
one
sent
one and a half, 1.5, I think, is the price, something like that, and then it's about a 30,000 square foot. So,
yeah.
and I'm thinking that now that they're going to be gentrifying that area and making it look a lot better, when the lease comes up, whether the guy wants to stay or not, which I think he probably will because he's got a big government contract. Um, there's something else we got to find out, Nolan. If he's going to pay for that spur off the railroad track on the back, that'll be a nice addition to the building, whether he stays or goes, especially if he pays for that. But the rents can definitely go up, next time we negotiate this lease for sure.
Yeah, I mean the rents can go up, and what Richard's talking about is there's a railroad track that runs adjacent to the parcel line, and this guy, another reason why the site was attractive to him was because there was a railroad again, and they're going to just develop, they're going to build a little spur off of there where the trains can roll through and they can basically peel off, fill up all their product, and because he has a government contract, and then get back on the tracks and keep rolling. I mean, it's you know, you can't find a lot of buildings that are that close to spurs. So a business that uses railways like that, it's an extremely attractive site like that. And then what that will do as well is it wedges them in that location even more because where else are you going to go? Especially if you start relying on that spur, you start relying on that railroad, and then your lease comes up for renew. Where are you going to go? So it allows you to either go out of business or pay the rent that you're offering. So that's a thought. So yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
appreciate.
excited about it. I got to keep doing some due diligence this evening again once my kids go to sleep tonight. But
Yeah,
when we spoke to Ryan about it at lunch, it was he was into it. Again, they're a smaller bank. Millennial Bank is a bank in town. They don't have a ton of assets, but they can. It's basically the loan officer and the president are the loan committee. So when there is an opportunity, it's more of a hey, let's hang out in the office for 15 minutes and talk about this, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. So anybody else got a thought or a question on how Richard and I are working on this one or have appetite for something like this?
Oh, that's great. We also made a video while we were there too.
yeah.
And
Thanks for doing that, Zane.
Yeah, we'll work on that one too.
yeah,
So
so take some
what's
time.
the price on that building? I didn't see it initially. I just hopped on.
I think
Yeah,
one point five
Roughly a
three
million
six.
five was
yeah,
the offer. Yeah, like I said, I like to do a couple of initial um more underwriting out of the gate, and then I would like to get my eyes on the everything before we sign anything because I think there might be some more juice to squeeze,
yeah, sure.
but not right or wrong. So what's next? Who else is working on anything else? Let's see. Will and Caleb just joined on here. Um, yeah, just happy to keep the ball moving down the field. What else is happening?
Yo,
Uh
I'm
oh,
working
go.
on prospecting materials, but you guys know when it's worth bringing up and going over some underwriting stuff.
Well, maybe if you like, maybe turn your camera off and we might be able to hear you a little bit better. It's crazy spotty.
Got me better now.
Still a little spotty, but you know, happy to listen in either way. Zane, do you have an idea of what Will's working on by chance, or has it been back and forth? Well, either way, okay. Um, well, yeah, I mean, just hey, dude, hey, buddy, hey, dude, can you okay, give me 1 second, guys. Where's mommy? You know that I need this 1 hour, okay? Um, sorry, we got three little kids now, and it's just like, you want to say hi? Come here. All right, this is my kid Pryor right here.
Prior.
My son Pryor. He's my oldest,
Hi,
and
Pryor.
he's my best business partner. But you
Hey.
got to make a move though. Will you go back and play with the girls, please? Please. Um. So, well, good deal. So, what else is everybody else working on? I see that Adam just showed up. Adam's one of our newest members. Adam, we just joined this morning actually. So, if you're on, man, we'd love to hear more about you, what your story is, and what you're up to, man.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, I'm late. I had to pick the kids up, so I'm just now getting home.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah, well, not recently. I watched your video that you gave a few years ago. Another group that I'm involved in. So I was very interested in uh, getting to work with you and learning all that I can to become a commercial real estate person that will, just kind of get some freedom, some free time back with the family and save on taxes and so on and so forth. So, yeah, today's the first day, and I'm excited to get started learning everything. And I should probably, well, I can't turn my camera on right now. Something's wrong with this thing.
No, that's all right. That's okay. Man,
Let's
we're
try
just
this.
happy to have you. We're excited. I mean, half the fun of this is being able to be a part of. All right, one moment here. This is why we can't do this. This is why I'm not doing this anymore here. Come on. Where's your mom? Let's go. Girl. Then you have to be quiet because daddy's talking, okay? Guys, I got to apologize. I make all the time specifically for this, and I'm, you know, I'm just apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I like to be focused on this, and it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna be focused. So I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's the 1 hour a week. It's the 1 hour a week that I asked for, and I can't get it. And I'm just like, damn it. So I apologize. So I'm giving you guys what I got. So thank you guys for being flexible and putting up with me.
I can't tell, Nolan. Are you a little frustrated right now?
No, I'm
Don't
good. I'm
don't worry, Nolan. Everybody understands. Everybody with
Good.
children understands.
Man, I'm
It's
giving
okay.
I'm giving you all the effort like all the time, and it's like sometimes you just like I'm like, dude, I'm so but hey, would you mind grabbing him, please, if that's okay? Would you mind doing that? Listen, I'm
Well, Noah, are you there? I know we had a call scheduled for earlier today. You said you were talking to some lenders or something like that. I haven't talked to you in a week, and I know you always have some cool things going on.
Yeah. So me and Adam Morris right now are working on a sale leaseback in Minneapolis. Kind of going back and forth through the broker. We're trying to get them to agree to a 10-year lease. They won't. new owners. So, but yeah, I'm just always reaching out, trying to connect with more lenders. So, yeah, totally forgot about the Zoom call, but I guess I was doing something. I guess I was doing something related to it. So,
No, you're good.
but yeah,
Cool, man. Well, yeah, we'll keep us updated, of course, and we'll keep it going.
yeah.
I guess we'll also wait on Nolan here for a sec. And John, I know you cut out when we were finishing up your kind of conversation about the lesson that we kind of learned from what those sellers requested. So to boil it down, the Nolan was kind of saying what he would have done
All right, I
differently.
locked the front door. I'm back to Nooch. I'm good to go. Okay.
Okay. I was
Gosh, I'm
just,
sorry, guys. Man.
no, you're good, dude.
Okay. What were you saying, Zane? I apologize.
No, it's all good. I was giving John a rundown on kind of like the lesson learned because he cut out at the time when we were talking about it on
Yeah,
that on
yeah,
that deal. It was just kind of like if they're gonna ask for something from us, then we should ask for something from them in return, not just give them what they want, you know?
yeah. There's always like in my opinion, there's always a like a quid pro quo. So they're asking you, oh, fill out this questionnaire, whatever. That's fine. But in exchange for that, I'm going to send you an LOI with these two purchase options. I need you to respond and agree to one of them. And therefore, we can have an equal exchange of value versus them just getting something from you. Like, that's not fair to me. Like, there's no sense in you just giving up information that is, again, information that you can negotiate and use in the future in that deal. I would never give up information unless I'm getting something else in return. You know what I mean? And also, too,
Yeah.
again, if a seller, this is my opinion, but if a seller is asking for all this stuff, they're either represented by somebody in New York City or they're just not very motivated. Like there there's no other way around it in my opinion. That's what I've discovered. If someone's asking all these silly questions, again, the broker is completely out of touch. They're not actually local, and that's why they need all that information because they don't want to waste their time on a potential purchaser that can't close, or they again just don't have any they don't have any like there's no other way to do a deal than besides using the information that they give you. So I'm always looking to get something in return anytime I'm having to give something up. That's my opinion.
And that broker was out of Los Angeles, California, so maybe that's one of the reasonings.
He probably, yeah, I mean, again, he's not, if he's gonna go walk those sites, maybe he walked them one time like 2 years ago or something, but he's representing a guy that said, maybe his secretary called somebody and got the listing under contract, and then now he's just like, oh, I need this information. I don't want to waste my time going under contract if these guys aren't going to close because I'm in California, So
Yeah.
just like not local at that point. So just a
How many
thought.
days do you normally give them to respond on the LOI? I mean, what do you think on that?
Um, I mean, man, maybe like 3 days. I mean, they're either motivated or they're not motivated. They either want to do a deal, they don't want to do a deal. And you guys know, but it's like motivation to me is 50% of a deal. If a guy's not getting divorced, somebody's not dying, they're not breaking up their business partnership, if something's not going sideways, they don't need to get out, then you've got resistance in to close. And especially if there's even a second or third party that's involved and they got a chance to hang something up. And I always joke but say like milk out on the counter spoils. Like the more people, the longer the timeline goes up, people get deal fatigue and deals just go to die. And the people that are like, hey, I need to close in 30 days because I'm moving to San Francisco, bam, those are the best deals. Whether the building is like in good shape or in bad shape or a good lease or a bad lease, you can usually negotiate a really strong purchase price on something like that because they got to move. They got to take action quickly. So they don't have a whole lot of you know it's the supply and demand at that point. That's what my understanding would be. What's next?
I have one I found. If no one else has anything, I don't want to take up too much time, but It's I don't know if anybody has experience with right now it's a grow house. So it's they just signed a 5-year lease, and it's a triple net lease, and the asking price is a 10% cap rate, and it talks about something about a sell buyback. The owner,
Sale
yeah,
lease
sell
back.
lease
Yeah.
back, yeah,
Yep.
sell lease back. So I've got a performa on that one, but I don't know what anybody experienced any deals with any grow
Oh, yeah.
houses. And it's kind of like 30, 40 minutes from, one of the, from Oklahoma City. So it's kind of out there in a town I never even heard of before, but it's not far from the highway. It's a
Uh,
nice looking facility.
a lot of them are. Zane, you want to give your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, Nolan definitely does have some experience with these types of operations, and
I don't
they
smoke.
always.
Not right or wrong. I don't have experience that direction, but
But they always tend to have healthy looking cap rates, healthy looking tenants, and they're always sale leasebacks. And the reason why they are is because they can set the value from the lease back. So they might give you a really good cap rate and a good investment, but the value that they're selling or the value of the lease monthly is so much higher than the market value of a lease or the rent per square foot for other areas or for the same area, I should say. So
Right.
what they're doing is they're artificially inflating the value of the property ultimately. But that's just from our experience. Maybe you have a different experience on this one. No, I don't know.
I don't have any experience. That's why I'm asking you guys, but this is probably just sounds just like what you described right there.
Well, I mean,
So,
I would just look at the rent per square foot and see if it's like something normal or if it's something crazy.
yeah, I think
I'll give you guys
it
a look.
says,
No, no, no. Go ahead, John.
but it's 1875 per square foot. That's
And
is what
this is you said 30 or 45 minutes away from you said or what
Oklahoma
town?
City.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
This is some deal that we had under contract. I actually we had it under contract. This up in Michigan. We did a whole proposal for finance. All the information. I mean, this has some. Here's some photos of the site. I won't go into the whole thing because it goes into my personal stuff, but when I saw it when it was offered to me, I was like really pumped about it because it was an $8.5 million or $7.5 million deal or something like that. And long story short, like Zane said, that they were able to set the price because the reason why the deal does not pencil on a grow location like that is because when you do the comparable sales and the comparable lease rates in the area, for example, this guy was going to lease it back at $40 a square foot, and the market rent was like $12 a foot. And then I would be buying the site from him at 100 or like $350 a foot when the market is closer to like $120 a foot. So I'd be on paper over purchasing by like 3 times the intrinsic value of the site. But on top of that, I have an email and I'll share it with you too, John, once I find it. But on top of it, one of the biggest things that keeps those sites from uh, becoming, more the cap rates suppressing. That's why the cap rates are so high, is because a lot of these businesses are cash businesses, and they also are not able to, you have the government, you said it's state by state, whatever, but the federal government still hasn't like they haven't made it legal yet. So that's one thing. So then they can't get a bank account because banks cannot receive deposits from an illegal source, right? Like that's just their charters regulating them. So then that's why it becomes a cash business, and then it becomes like dirty money. Then it introduces laundering, and it has all these like it's like a butterfly effect at that point. But also too, again, a couple of my other buddies have invested in those sites in the past. I'm not calling your baby ugly, but because I didn't do this deal myself, but they basically said they had a couple of guys that were putting money into it, and all the books are essentially cooked. All the numbers are just inflated and fabricated because there's no regulation. They don't have bank statements. They don't, again, it's they're using more like, third parties or credit unions or somebody off the Cayman Islands. So it's a totally different business until it becomes like regulated. And that's when that happens, the cap rates will suppress because there's going to be more competition to purchase those assets. So right now there's not a lot of competition, and that's why cap rates are, pretty high. That's been my underwriting perspective because I was gangbuster for it. Dude. I was like, the seller was going to leave money in the deal. I was going to be able to buy this building for like no, like I was going to be able to take like $2.5 million of depreciation. That was exciting to me. And then after I studied it more and more, you know, everything started to get a little wonky. So that's
I've
my
also I've
yeah.
also heard of issues with the chemicals and stuff that they use in the building, like eroding the ceiling and stuff. I don't know if that's super accurate, but I remember a lender was for another member of the group, Shanae, up in like Oregon. Uh, one of her lenders that she asked about a deal like this was saying that they were concerned about just like the integrity of the internal like structure of the property because of some kind of chemicals that they use to grow this stuff.
You've watched the movie Pineapple Express too many times, Zane.
Yeah, totally making that up.
I'm just joshing.
Well, appreciate it, fellas. I knew there had to be a reasoning behind it, and someone had some experience in the group, so I appreciate the feedback.
I'm happy to share all that, all the feedback I've got from a couple of those other doctors that are just like grinding to get their money back, grinding, and they're doctors and they believe in like the medicinal, like all that kind of stuff. So they were all in, and they're like, don't invest in the sites that develop them. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I was curious. I was like, okay, well that makes a lot of sense to me. So anybody else? What else is happening?
Our live events coming up again. And so I think we have about 10 more seats left, by the way. So that's in November, late November. A lot of you guys have probably already heard of it. Adam, I sent you the link earlier today. Best to RSVP sooner rather than later, of
Badass.
course.
It's gonna be sick. I'm crazy pumped. It's like it's all coming
Yeah.
together. We've got everything paid for. Everything's like dialed in. It's gonna be awesome. Like I just confirmed with like all of our guests, like my banker, I've got like three bankers. I've got two accountants, multiple attorneys. I got a cut like we've got. If you don't make it, that's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, you're gonna be mingling with all of the guys that do all of this stuff already. So it's like it's really cool. It'll be in, and then of course the food and the drinks will be totally on the house, which will be awesome. So
That's what I'm looking forward to
we'll all get
most.
together as friends and stuff, and then on the Saturday we'll go and get on a bus and go look at all these buildings. And I've already talked to one of my tenants. We'll go over there for lunch. I'm talking about Mike Parlier, and
Yeah.
last year we had like we rolled up to one of my buildings, and my tenant was like working on the weekend, and he had a cooler full of beer. We had all the box lunch, and we just like hung out in the building and just it was really fun. So it'll be it'll just be a lot of fun. It's a really good time. You get a network with everybody. Networking is kind of a silly word, but um, it's a lot of fun to get in person. It gets you motivated to be like, damn, okay, this is a real thing. Like these buildings are real. We got a really cool special guest. He's a mentor of mine that's flying in from Canada. So there's a lot of cool things that are happening. So we're excited about that. So if you can make it, great. If you can't, we'll always find you next year. But the opportunity to, you know, get you kick started, to get fired up for the new year and everything is going to be great. So anybody else as we roll out, I know that, end of the year, does anybody, I would say this too. I know it says end of the year. It's already crazy, but, what I would like you guys to do is if you don't mind, if you guys have like a couple of questions or like a big question where you'd say, hey, if I could really learn this, or if I could really going into 2026, if I could really comprehend again bonus depreciation, which we've got a live call on that, but just that's an example. But hey, if I could really comprehend how a bank underwrites a deal, if I could really comprehend how contracts work with attorneys, if I can understand how this infinite banking concept works, if you guys can get with us, even if it's individually or if it's on school or whatever, man, what I'll do is I'll set up a lineup for guests to come on and they can share their screen, and the same guys that are going to be at our live event, I'll have them come on our call and do do their entire pitch. That way we can have it recorded. You guys can always go back and review it, and then just really answer the questions that you individually are chasing, right? So like maybe the whole group, there's like 100 of us or whatever, but if you individually have one question, like please let us know, and then I'll go find the answer from somebody and we'll have him on as a guest and he'll answer everything about that question. Then you can really become more of an expert at it. So that's what I would ask you guys if you're not opposed to it. Find something that you're really trying to hone in, a skill, or hey, I really need to comprehend this before I go do something. Then I'll go out there and find the contact that is the expert. I'll bring him on our call and he'll give, all the information, to us as a team. So if you guys aren't opposed to that, please think of something over the next, week, whatever, get with us, and then I'll set that up going into, the end of this year and in the new year. So is that good with everybody?
Yeah, maybe we'll release a little like survey or something for people to submit their answers to.
That'd be great. We'll put up like a poll or something on school,
Yeah.
or however that looks. That'd be great. Zane's my tech guy.
Tech genius over here.
Sound good, everybody? Is that all right to roll out on that one?
Yeah,
Sounds
sounds
good
good
to
to
me.
me.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody making it on. If you got it, you always know if you have anything for us, please reach out to us. You know that we're on your team. We're excited to have you. And anything that we can do, let us know. We'll be ready to rock and roll with you. So, and I'll upload this thing tonight, and then you can always watch the replay that's on school. Okay, everyone?
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for making it. Let us know if we can do something. Thanks.
Thanks.